Yo, what's up guys? It's B Studios, and today we're going to be covering 6 main steps for making game sprites. So, on Aseprite, once you have an open world, this is what you're going to do. Step 1. Ask yourself what you're trying to make. Because most people, they just get onto Aseprite and they say, oh, I want to make a game about this, and start. No, you want to actually plan ahead. So today I'm going to be drawing a ball, since, my man Bob. So I'm going to be drawing a ball. So at the beginning, there doesn't really need to be anything in box 1. Just all we need to know is what you're going to be drawing. Okay, so now that we have what we're drawing, then we're going to slide over to step 2. Step 2 is draw the silhouette. So a silhouette is pretty much the main image of it, except in all black. So since we're going to be drawing a ball, I'm gonna do the outline. So now that you have a silhouette of what you're drawing, this is a very good silhouette because by looking at it, it looks like a circle or a ball if it's like colored in. So now, after you've done the silhouette, you want it to look like what you're drawing. Like, if you're drawing a person, you don't want it to look not like a person in the silhouette. That's how you know if what you're drawing is going to be good or not. And if it doesn't, just retry the silhouette. So now, let's move on to step 3. Okay, so step 3 is you want to color the inside. So pretty much, I'm just going to copy and paste. So on each step, you should be copy and pasting because you don't have to redraw it. Sometimes it's good to redraw stuff. Okay, let's move it here. So now we're going to want to color the inside. So we're going to do red this time. Bob Jr. Wait, no. Actually, we're going to stick with lime green. Okay, so now your picture's actually coming to life. Okay, so now that you have your circle, this is pretty much step 3 done. So let me just copy and paste. Time to move on to step 4. Okay, so let's Command V, and now we have our ball. And step 4 is to add details. So if you're doing a person, you'd probably add a face. And since this is Bob over here, I'm going to add a face. Okay, so now that you have Bob, or whatever you're drawing, this is pretty much, for me, step done, but you can pause the video and add as much details as you want. So now, time to move on to step 5. Step 5 is probably one of the most important steps of making sprites. You don't have to do this if you want a cartoon look, but for a really high quality game, you want shading. Shading is very important. So what you want to do is look, like, which way do you want the sun to shine? I kind of do it like right here, if you can see my mouse, coming this way, this direction. So draw an arrow for now, but later you'll tweak it. So this arrow means that's the direction the sun's coming from. So you might want to start with some yellow on these edges. Wait, no, yeah. And then maybe more yellow, and then you want to make this like a white. Like it's coming from this angle. So then once you do what you want, this is kind of bad since it has a face. It's hard to do it. So on people, you don't really need where the light's coming from. Okay, so after you drew your arrow, this is where the sun's coming from. And this part, since it has a face, you can barely do any like lighting. So we're just going to do the shading part at the bottom. So if the sun's coming from this way, the shadow is going to be over here. So pick the color of the ball, which is lime green, and then go a little darker, or do the darkest green that you're going to do, and just do it over here. And then get the next lighter green and do it from over here. And then it will add some shading to it. And then you have your lime green. And that's like pretty good shading. Okay, so after you have some shading down, you're gonna want to add a shadow. This is important. So I like doing like a really dark green for this, since it's like a ball. Okay, and then I'm going to take this little part away. And then it looks like a ball with the sun coming this way with the shadow. And this, it looks pretty good. After step 5, we're going to go on to step 6. Okay, so now step 6, you just want to trim. So like there are some spots that aren't looking at that good. So this is like one of the most important steps. I don't really have anything to trim, but like let's say I accidentally did this and made it a little blocky. Trimming would be like, oh, this is too blocky, I'm going to trim these edges. And then these shadows aren't big enough, I feel like. So I'm going to make this a little longer. And then maybe make the shadow a little bigger. Yeah, I think that really helps. This shadow is already looking a lot better. Okay, that shadow is really good. I want to see what it looks like when I take this part away. Yeah, no. Okay, so those are the main 6 steps when making game sprites. So you start out, I started out with just an idea, then went to the silhouette, then colored it in, added details, shaded, and then trimmed the edges. And that is how you make game sprites. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.